so I decided to write a song.
How we doing, my boy?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I know, man. We're good. For those of you that don't know, this is my guy Damontay. He is the host of Failing Forward with Montay, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was watching, I don't know why I always process it as falling forward.
Everybody be saying that.
I don't know why. like when I would look it up on YouTube, I would be searching falling forward. I'm like, why is nothing coming up? Then I was like, oh, failing. That's a dot on the I.
Why do you think people do that? Like, why do you think they mind associate falling instead of failing? Like, do you not think a person would name their brand like something with the word failure in it? Think that's the reason?
I think that's the thing. Like when I think of like, cause I'm like, I don't know, like I think of it as like you're falling forward, but
yeah,
you know, you feel like you're messing up, but like you're ending up on your feet still. You feel me? I don't know. That's how.
That's basically the concept right there. But to my subscribers and my supporters, I'll let you introduce yourself, bro. But it's a fellow podcaster from my city, and I felt like this episode was important because a lot of times when you got peers that's in a similar space that look like you, a lot of times like we feel like it got to be competition or like we can't support each other. So this was my way of like bridging the gap. Since he started, I always was like supporting the Make a Way podcast. I felt like it was important. You from Southwest, right, bro? Mm-hmm. We both from Southwest, from the same hood. I'm sure we went to the same schools. Pepper, I got folks that went to prep. You went to prep. It's just like we African. Mm-hmm. It's just too many reasons why we shouldn't be like collaborating with each other. So this was important to me, bro. And before we get started, I definitely wanted to like give you your flowers on what you're doing, bro. It's really, what you're doing is inspiring, bro. I'm not even just saying that. I think it's important for like a lot of the former athletes from the city to like have a voice. Mm-hmm. And for people like myself, bro, like even when I was playing in high school, like I was still a fan of like so many other players. So like after school, I'm going on Tad Solari. I'm looking up stats from all my homies in the city. I'm looking in the daily news to check the box scores from the pub, basketball, football, everything. So like I always been a sports nerd. So I think it's important that you give a lot of the athletes, you know, from every level, from high school, college to the pros, a platform to come and tell their story and like control the narrative around their careers. A lot of times, like us on the outside, we be wondering like, why so and so did this or why did he go blah blah blah, and they could come and tell you, be like, oh snaps, like he ain't famous or nothing, but it's like I was invested in his story, so it's important.
And
to
it's
know.
not even the fact like famous is such a subjective term in my opinion, because like in the city of Philadelphia, for example, you know, when I was coming up in high school, like I think it was 10th grade year, that was Jaquan Newton's senior year for me. So like
boy,
bro, I know personally, bro, like
he famous to us.
Yeah, he's famous to us, bro. I don't care what people say, bro. He might be somebody out there's cousin, somebody out there friend.
Yeah,
but like that was the first person that I seen in person in high school doing windmill dunks and dropping. Like it was the one game I went to, it was Newman Goretti versus West Catholic.
Yeah.
Sold out. I was like, damn, I don't think I ever spent $15 to go to a high school sporting event.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I guarded him before. Like I was at King Sesson and we just was hooping, and I'm like, I pride myself on defense. Like I always been a defensive player, and I was guarding him, and I'm like, all right, like I understand why he's who he is. One of the plays, like I ain't gonna lie, like it looked like he made me touch earth. I'm not gonna confirm or deny that.
No,
I got back up and I contested the shot. I recovered on that, and he missed. But from that run, I was like, all right, I see like why he's like who he is. Yeah, a lot of people say like, oh, he can't shoot. He only get downhill, yada yada yada. But he could do everything. He a hooper, bro. He tough.
That's one of the things I noticed, bro. I went to that game, bro. He didn't play the whole first half for reasons I don't know, bro. Second half, he still scored like 20, 25, bro.
He the best player to ever come out the Catholic League. He one of the best players to ever come out of Philadelphia. He stamped forever.
Yeah, bro. He was special, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It was him. Was something Christmas. He was nice. I seen him in high school.
Raheem or Deontay Christmas?
I think it was. Which one went to Syracuse?
Raheem. Yeah, he was a center. He went to Academy of New Church.
Yeah, he was nice.
Different. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Some of my favorite people, like I was in Division A my junior year because I was playing for Bartram. Bro, in our division, we had Maurice Watson at Boys Latin. We had Savon Goodman and Daquan Walker at Constitution. At PET,
That Constitution run was special. Like
It was nasty.
that Constitution high school basketball run was nasty.
At Vaux, we got Sheed Jordan. At Comtech, we got Samir. And everybody else that they had, top to bottom. Bro, every night I'm looking like, yo, we playing who? Like, like this is crazy. Like, that year at Bartram, bro, really woke me up. I'm like, dang, we really got some talent in the city, bro. Like, we had some hoopers.
And I feel like a lot of the guys in our generation, the reason why I really started this podcast for real was because, like, I feel like we were, like, the dawn of the social media era. So, like, everybody gets a chance to showcase what they could do now. Like, the high schools in Philly that, like, at our time, like, schools like Montay got all of the camera time. Like, in our time, bro, in football, you wouldn't know nobody that played for Lincoln. You wouldn't know nobody that played for, like, none of the, like, I don't want to say tier 2 teams, but the tier 2 of popularity teams, nobody really knew who was on them teams.
Seriously. Bro. Everybody got a mixtape now, bro. I see a lot of people be saying that, like, when we was young, bro, like, when we was coming up, if you had a mixtape, like, you knew. Best. You was him, bro. Like, everybody wasn't getting no mixtapes. Like,
if you search hoop mixtape, it was a quill card, done.
Yeah, like, facts.
Like, it was Quade Green. That's it.
How you feel about that, though? Like, now that everybody get that chance to get that exposure?
I mean, I feel like all of the forgotten stories are now going to be seen. And I feel like, if anything, even if the kid never makes it anywhere far, it at least gives them a chance to document their story for, like, their family members going forward. I feel like that's the most important thing for me.
And I think that's the power of, like, the social media era, like podcasts, YouTube channels, all of this, bro, is just being able to, like, control your narrative and document your story. Because it may not mean something to somebody out there, but if it means something to you, your family, I think that's important and is worthwhile. Like, that's what matters the most, honestly.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I really like seeing it, bro. I like going on the internet, and it don't matter if that kid only averages 10 points a game, bro. If he paid for his little videographer to come down and record him, and he catches 2 dunks in the jump shot, bro, he can make the rest look good, bro.
You think it's actually paving the way for people to go to school?
Yeah, bro. Because all content is good content now. I feel like, for example, when we talk about football, Ben Franklin in 2015, I believe, I already talked about it before, they were the highest, like the largest passing offense in the history of the public league. Kev threw for $5,000. He had 2 or 3 different 1,000-yard receivers. Like, Macho Rodriguez had 23 receiving touchdowns that year. Like, they was the most explosive passing touch offense to ever come through the city of Philadelphia. None of their games were filmed.
Facts.
Imagine that, bro. Arguably the best passing offense ever in the city of Philadelphia. None of them kids had huddle highlight tapes. And what's his name? He ended up going to East Stroudsburg. The receiver at the time, he was the number 2 that year. Before next year was his senior year. He ended up not having no highlights to his senior year. So imagine being the all-time Philadelphia receiving yards leader,
and it's not documented nowhere.
And all you got is Ted Solari to prove it. You got no video.
Right. That's how I feel, bro, when I be trying to tell people about Sheed. Like, when I tell people from out of town, like, his story, like, I be like, bro, this man was like he was from North Philly, bro, and like he had a public school playing a national schedule. I don't know if people really know how crazy that is, bro. Like, a regular kid from North Philly playing on a national schedule. Like, you playing like the Harrison twins, like people like that went to Kentucky, like the top players in the country. Like, that's not regular, bro. Like, for his story to play out how it did, it's sad, but bro really need a documentary for what he did, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, bro. It's a lot of dudes like that, though, bro. It's a lot of very, very high-end basketball players or football players or baseball players or tennis players that, like, really were really good athletes. And even though, you know, to some it might look like a sad story, for all we know, that could have been the breakdown that would have led to his breakthrough. And I feel like that's another reason why I got my podcast. Is like, for people that's like, damn, I wonder what's happening to him. What happened to him? What happened to him? It could be for them to just come up here and just be like, hey, bro, I'm doing okay.
Right. And for your supporters that don't really know much about my podcast, it's called Failing Forward with Montay. And my motto is that we reveal the power of failure on the road to success. A lot of kids from the inner city all over the world, more specifically in Philly, I feel like a lot of us don't take that chance outside of sports and like rap or whatever the case may be to like give ourselves a chance to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you passionate about. If you passionate about computer science, if that's the thing you want to try, Like, I feel like a lot of us fall victim to the hood mentality of, like, not wanting to, like, do nothing that's outside the norm because we don't want to be too exposed. We don't want to be too vulnerable. And I feel like the only reason I made it this far, bro, is, like, I tried a whole bunch of different things. And I won't necessarily consider them, like, failures, but I would just say, like, whatever didn't go right led me to where I am today. And because I kept embracing all of the lessons and experiences throughout the journey, I got to meet so many people. I got to meet so many different experiences. And the failures never really turned out to be, like, failures. It was just, like, roadblocks or, like, lessons I learned along the journey. And I felt like it's important for us to collab, too, because, like, we both was athletes. I hooped. You played football. And, like, for us to be able to reinvent ourselves post-college, post-high school, and, like, I feel like it's a blessing. Whatever level you get to play on, whether that's Division I, II, or III, it's a blessing to be able to play after high school. We went to school, got our degrees, played as long as we could, and to now, you a father, I'm a father. We got families.
Thankful every day.
And we don't get to contribute to the sport playing in the same way that we used to, but we still get to make a meaningful contribution to our communities by what we're doing now. I think that's, like, I think it's fire, bro. I think it's really important. And I just wanted to talk about, like, I feel like a lot of these kids, let's say the ones that got the mixtapes now that might not get to even make it to play in college, like, what happens to them, like, their stories. I feel like we see it every day, bro. It be people in the hood that's 30, 40. They might be playing semi-pro. Some of them might not. And they be, like, hood legends. But it's, like, I think it's important to, like, how do people even, I would say, like, for a lot of these kids, bro, I'm going to ask you, like, do you feel like we setting them up for failure in terms of when they young and they going through this system, like, not giving them other options? Do you feel like it's a school system problem? Do you feel like it's a parental problem? Like, what do you feel like that stems from in terms of kids seeing a bigger picture?
I mean, the big thing that I try to lean towards is just showing kids that the sport itself is a vehicle.
Right.
And it's meant to be able to teach you things all of the time. Like, I know when I was talking to my friend the other day, the big reason why I'm so adamant on my son playing sports one day is not necessarily for him to be Bron. It's not necessarily for him to be Kobe, for him to be Derek Jeter. I feel like my real goal for it is all of the intangible lessons that I've learned throughout my life playing sports. And all of the wins along the way was just like extra benefit. All of the success, all of the school being paid for, all of that other stuff was just a pat on the back and extra, because the discipline that I got from playing sports, the punctuality, the competitiveness, the grind and the will to work harder than the next man over, the 1% better mentality, the brotherhood, the companionship, all of the different things that I got from playing sports, I wouldn't have got without it.
Right.
Because I look at my other extracurricular activities that I did that wasn't including sport, and if it wasn't for playing football and having to go through all of the different things I went through while playing football, I don't feel like I would have all of the character traits that I have with me today.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially like parents and adults, they look at it as doing something to keep kids busy. Like, a lot of kids, you know, when you're growing up in poverty, like our parents, they need coaches and people outside the crib to, like, step in and fulfill those hours when we not in their care. So I think having something to do, that's one element to it. But I think on a deeper level, like you said, like, bro, the lessons and, like, if you really apply yourself, like, how you could find yourself through a sport, bro, I think is really empowering. Like, in my example, bro, I tell this on my podcast, like, when I was coming out of high school, bro, I ain't barely have no offers. Like, I barely had no offers. My homie Shay, he had offers from, like, Rosemont, a new school called Brent Athen, and some other D3 schools or whatever, D3, D2. And I just asked him one day, I'm like, bro, like, where you going to school, bro? I ain't applied to no colleges, nothing coming out. Because my mind was just focused on, like, yeah, I'm about to go hoop. Like, whoever offered me, that's where I'm going. That's just average. That's how a lot of kids think in the city, bro. So, like, when that time came around, I was texting back and forth with Shippensburg. But my senior year, 2014, the PIAA, they instituted a rule where if your coach wasn't a staff member at the school, then they couldn't, like, coach a sport. So my high school coach, he used to coach Gratz when Rasheed Wallace and even I think when the Morrison twins was there back in the day, he's a championship coach. They fired him right before the season started. We recruited a whole bunch of players to come to my school. He had connections to coaches all throughout the PSAC. So I'm texting Shippensburg. My mind and my heart was set. I'm about to play D2 up ship. When our coach got fired, nobody was really, like, pushing for us or, like, advocating for us to get to schools like he was. And I think it didn't help that my last game was versus Montay, so they smacked us. That was over.
Yeah,
But
it comes with the game though.
it definitely come with the territory. But I said all that to say I didn't apply to no schools, and I just happened to go to an open gym. I went to an open gym, and I was hooping at that gym, bro. Like, when I say bad, I ain't gonna lie. Like, my homie that brought me, I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. I think I might have outplayed him, but he already had his offer, so it didn't even really matter. I'm picking up people 94 feet. I'm talking trash to their seniors, all that. So the coach basically gave me like a verbal offer. At that time, Rosemont had offered me. It's all D3 schools outside of SHIP, which was the only D2. So I went to Brent Athens, but in my mind, I knew like, I'm not a D3 player. Like, if I like work my tail off and whatever the case may be, like, I could get to the next level. So I spent that freshman year. I had an okay season, I feel like, at the school. But in my mind, I knew I'm getting out of here. So I transferred to Millersville. I looked at it like, if I got to walk on, it's one of the cheapest schools in the PSAC. Mm-hmm. They team is underperforming right now. They not competing with the likes of East Stroudsburg, Slippery Rock. Like, it's bottom of the barrel. I could make this team. So I get up there. I'm hooping with all the people, whatever the case may be. And then the first year I get there, they get a new coach. The next year. So he cleaned house. He brought in his whole new staff, whole new roster, whatever the case may be. And I made the team as a walk-on. So I made the team. And I consider this one of my biggest failures, bro, but one of my biggest opportunities is, like, I didn't know what they put walk-ons through, like, mentally, physically, emotionally. So, like, I would be in practices, bro, like, he wouldn't even let me, like, I'm on the sideline at practice. Like, how you on the sideline at practice, bro? Like, I'm going to a whole practice, I'm running sprints and all that. I'm not getting in no scrimmages, drills, none of that. And then when I get in, I mess up. He like, get back on the Jones, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it wasn't that made, like, fried me out, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a nutty situation. So, like, my girl at the time, she was a cheerleader on the team. So, like, when I first got up there, I just saw her, how bad she was, and I just got with her. This is my first time at, like, a big school, so I got with her or whatever the case may be. But then I started becoming popular. So now I'm building, like, but now I'm seeing, like, the real school, so I'm getting more attention now. So I ain't gonna say I lied, but I wasn't honest. I told her, like, I want to focus on basketball, preparing to make the squad. And, I don't think we should be together right now, when I really just wanted to, like, explore college and do my thing or whatever. So I started moving around, doing a bunch of things, doing the college thing, having fun, being wild, word get back to her. And I feel like it's cool to be young, messy when you're young, whatever the case may be. Word get back to her, she's like, I'm gonna get my get back or whatever the case may be.
One of your homies.
So it's down the line, bro, when I make the team, right? So I'm sitting at a table just like this with all my teammates, and I see her, like, we not together at this point. We not even really cool. And she, like, talking to my teammates in a way that made me uncomfortable. I'm like, but all of them knew. We don't really know each other. They getting to know me. And Bull said something like, bro, the point guard said something like, bro, you don't know? Like, I'm like, what you talking about? He told me, like, a couple of my teammates had. Bro, when I say that broke my spirit, bro, your teammates, your situation, bro, when I say a bad joint. So, like, bro, it got to the point where I'm going to practices. I'm already not getting in practices. I'm not playing. I'm on the sideline. I'm to the point where when I'm doing drills and stuff, bro, it's getting to the point where I really want to mix my teammates because they knew the whole time and nobody told me. So I quit the team. And from there, bro, everything that I had worked hard for, like, I got thrown away over a moment because I was too emotional. And I didn't remember, like, what was the bigger picture of the situation. So, like, that was one of the failures, I think, bro, like, in my life. When I look back, it was part of, like, a pattern of, like, me quitting on stuff when I felt like it was too hard, and, like, walking away from situations, like, prematurely. And that was a part of my process of, like, that was part of the inspiration for my podcast, but also, like, reinventing myself after sports. So, like, academically, I got an opportunity to go to Temple the next year. I went to 3 schools in 3 years, bro. But when I got to Temple, I stayed. And I ain't hoop no more, but I feel like everything that I ever wanted to do from an academic standpoint outside of sports, I finally started like dipping and diving into like my interests. And bro, like I graduated Temple debt free. All the debt I had from the other schools erased just off academics, because I could really like focus and like apply myself. And we African, bro, so like I'm Liberian. I grew up seeing my grandma send money to Africa, taking our clothes, sending it back home. Our church fundraising to build wells and water. So being a servant of the community, that was naturally just in me. So I started diving deeper into that type of stuff and building a reputation. I'm like, yo, I like giving back. Like I like helping our people. That led me to social work as a career. I'm like, oh, like I get to help people from a career, make money from just like helping people. People say like social workers don't make money. I'm like, I believe in me. I know I'm smart. I made it this far. I'm gonna make money through my career, and I ride with it. I'm doing pretty well for myself. But I say all of that to say, bro, like that was the inspiration for my brand and my podcast. All of the failures I ever went through in my life. Bro, I went to so many different schools. I've been through so many different situations where I might have quit, walked away from something, being a hothead or too emotional. And all of those failures built me up to where I am now, where I'm like, when I got something like a podcast or a brand, bro, I'm never going to quit this. Like, I'm a dad now. I can't never quit that. Like, I could fail. I could mess up at being a dad. I can't never walk away from that baby and that girl, bro. Like, so I feel like that's my experience of how all of my failures and those situations built me up today to be who I am, but also inspire my brand. So I appreciate you giving me the time to talk.
No, man, that was gold, bro. Because the thing is, you saved me from a couple questions, and I feel like not even that. I feel like the real good thing with being as though I'm on here with somebody that has their own podcast, it's like I don't have to like facilitate the conversation either. It's more natural, but structured at the same time. I guess what I was about to ask you next was, you know, kind of following up with what you started to get into was being in social work. I started to look at the demographics today. So my wife's a social worker, and when she was in school, I know for sure that the only guy that was in her class was my old teammate named Eric. Yeah. So I'm on here today. I'm like, all right, I remember that Montay said he was in social work, and I remember I was like, you know, scrolling through your LinkedIn and starting to put my little profile for for today together, and I was like, damn,
doing your homework.
always. You know, soon would come out there, going hard at school, going hard. But you know, one thing I noticed when I was looking at the demographics of social work was that only 1 in 5 social workers are male. Yeah. And if you want to talk about masters of social work or licensed social worker, it diminishes even more. With that, obviously, your classrooms were probably a similar ratio as well, if not smaller. So I was gonna wonder, like, how was that? Like, was it uncomfortable at times? Was it?
Well, I would say, bro, like going to Temple and studying social work. Temple is like they call Temple Diversity University. So I seen black people all the time. I might have been like one of the only guys in my class, but at least I saw like black women, Spanish women. You might have a couple white women here and there, but the playing field was like more equal. It wasn't until where I went to University of Penn, bro, where I felt like that's where I really seen like, oh snaps, like, bro, I'm in a cohort. I did my master's in a year. I'm in a cohort of I'll say like 30 students. I'm the only black male, bro. Like in my classes, it was to the point, bro, where a lot of times I didn't even feel like I was smart enough. Like I did everything warranted to get there, but when I would just hear them. These people coming from what's those schools, bro? You don't start playing until you go to states and stuff like that. Plymouth, White Marsh, and all them type. They went to them type schools. So I'm in there. The way I talk, the way I dress, I just became like very self conscious. I felt like yo, this ain't really like for me no more. Like I don't know if I could make it through. But I just kept remembering like my family, bro. Like. Nobody else went to school before. I'm the first person that went to school. My grandma, she used to, before she passed, she used to always say, like, you know, I pray for one of my offsprings to finish college. Like, she had 5 daughters, and none of my aunts or my mom was able to complete their college degree. So, like, I always used to play that to the back of my mind. I'm like, yo, I got to finish this deal. So I finished school or whatever the case may be, and my grandma, she actually passed, like, a year later, which was kind of freaky. But, I think it was tough, bro, but I chose my career because, like I said, just being intentional. When I looked at what I wanted to major in, I thought of, like, my skill set in terms of, like, what I possess naturally. Naturally, I'm a really good communicator, whether that's, like, verbally speaking or through writing. Like, I love writing. And then I like to help people. So I'm like, yo, I gotta find a career where it includes like all of the things that like really like come natural to me, bro. When it come to like contrary to what most people think, like I'm African, bro. I'm supposed to be good at math. I'm not though. I'm not good at math, science, none of them subjects. I'm good at English. Like I know English, so it's like, all right. I had to find something where I could make that work for me, so I chose my major. And bro, I heard it all. Like even my own family, like yo, like they don't make no money. Like why are you doing this? Or like people, men I would talk to, like it was a girl I was dating at the time. I met her dad. He was like, "You do social work? Like, why you ain't study like business? You went to University of Penn for social work?" Like, he basically was saying like, "What's wrong with me?" Because he didn't think I was going to be able to like take care of his daughter or like provide a life for her. And I understood all of their doubts, bro. But for me, like my purpose just was a lot bigger. Like I said, just like wanting to help people and like wanting to make that like my life mission, bro. Like I'm like when it comes to like being pro-black, bro, I'm like really one of them, bro. Like I want to see us like do real good. So I just stayed strong and stayed firm in it. And like I feel like I actually got the respect of a lot of like my peers, the women, or like our field is predominantly white women, but I feel like that actually played to my advantage because when it comes to certain positions or like certain opportunities, not to say that I was the token, but I am. They not used to somebody that come from where we come from, bro, where I got the look and everything of Philly, but I still know how to juggle between the corporate America, the world of academia, but I could still maintain my status of just being from the hood. So they want that, bro. They eat that up. So it was hard, but I feel like I've navigated my journey with grace and just being myself, and I feel like that's how I was able to make it this far.
Yeah, and that's kind of how my academic experience was. Not necessarily because I felt like I was going to be like, leaning towards what I really wanted to do. I feel like when I first got to college, I went in with the goal, all right, bet. Our senior year, we had this project. Shout out to Miss Hernandez. We had this project in our computer class where we basically had to build our lifestyle. Like she was real big on teaching us personal finance, teaching us how to create our life. So like a part of our senior class in our computer class, instead of learning Microsoft Word and Excel, she basically was like, I'm going to teach you guys how to buy a house. Even if you don't remember this in 10 years, I'm going to teach y'all how to make a budget. It was like the budget project. I'm going to teach y'all whatever. So you had to pick a job, you had to pick a school, you had to pick how much student loans you was going to have. Like you basically picked your degree and picked all of the different profiles for yourself. And then afterwards, like she basically handed you like, all right, this is where you're going to school and this is how much debt you're going to leave with based on your current GPA and whatever have you. And we basically like plotted out our whole next 10 years of our life. So I told myself, I'm like, all right, this is like what, September of my senior year. I was like, I'm telling myself like, I'm going into my senior season. I'm going Division I, so I'm going to Villanova. Let's just be realistic. Let's say I'm a preferred walk-on and I got to pay my tuition for the first 2 years, and I really like mapped it out. And I told myself, all right, what's the highest earning jobs in America? Because I come from a inner city household where both my parents is immigrants. They both came. My dad came here in '91. My mom came in '93, and my dad spent my whole life as a cab driver. My mom used to braid hair. You feel me? So standing watching my mom in the living room 13 hours doing micros, man, it taught me a lot about humility. It taught me a lot about hard work, man. So I told myself, I'd be damned if I'm working something in physical labor where like my reward is not equaling out to the labor that I put in. So I told myself, I'm going into school for computer science. I never learned coding in my life. I never learned engineering. I never learned any process data mapping, anything at that point. But I told myself I was going to go into IT just because I was going to figure it out. I was like, I like video games. I'm going to be a video game designer. Go to college, and I majored in computer science. And I was the only black kid in the whole room. Half of the class was Indian, half of the class was white, and I was the one black person in the whole room. And I finished my first semester with like a 3.0, and like you could see the frustration in me. I wasn't in my niche. I wasn't really doing what I was strong in.
Right.
And I went up to my professor. I told him his name was Krish Nakamura Pillai. I'm never gonna be an Indian guy. Strong. He was one of the first Indian people I ever had an actual like physical like a relationship with, actually being able to talk to. He was so relatable, and I'm talking to Krish, and he's like, listen, man, I know this stuff is new to you, and it's kind of discouraging knowing that some of these guys been doing this for a long time. But just trust me, like you gonna figure this out, and I promise you, one day, man, you're gonna thank me from the passenger seat of your Ferrari when you let me drive it one day. And I'm just like, I don't know, Chris, this, that, and the third. I feel like I should just be leaning towards my strengths, and then I'm gonna get back to this. Right. So, ironically, I ended up changing my major, and I ended up just keeping the computer science minor, and I was like, you know what, I love sports. I'm going to just go into sports business. I got my degree in sport administration. When I transferred my major over, I was scared that I was going to fall behind.
Yeah.
So I went off and I started taking 18 credits at a time, not knowing college is designed for you to change your major after your freshman year.
Right.
So I'm taking 18 credits. Come the fall of my junior year, and they're like, yo, you're 36 credits away.
Damn.
Do with that as you please. So I kind of like appealed to my department chair, and I basically told her like, yo, I'm taking all 6 major classes next semester. I'm taking six classes this semester, and this summer I'm doing my internship and I'm out. So I told my coaches, and after the season, I was able to transfer, and that's when I went in and I was like, the sports administration degree is cool, but I'm realizing how much politics it is when it comes to getting a job in the world of sports.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those careers where it's like a bell curve when it comes to salary. Like, I love it, and it's a very, very enticing field. And, like, being as though I'm an athlete, the sport administration professionals are very important to get me to where I needed to be. I needed ADs, and I needed grounds people, and I needed ticket sales people, et cetera. But, like, for the goals that I had in my head for myself and for providing for my family, like, the salaries go like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have the 5-year grace period after I'm done school to be able to build myself up.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's one of the hardest things that comes with being from a low-income household growing up is, like, you don't really have that grace period to say, like, yo, I'm going to be broke until I'm 32. Like, when they ask why there isn't as many black coaches as there are white coaches, and 72% of football players at some levels are black, in HBCUs, 90% of players are black, but you also have to dial back and realize that the average salary for an entry-level college coach that's not Division I is only $12 an hour their first year. GAs fresh out of school, some schools that's not Division I GAs get a full scholarship, sometimes get a housing stipend, and their personal stipend is about $400, bro. What am I supposed to do with that, bro? And they work in 80-hour weeks, bro. Shout out to Coach Gino, shout out to Coach AJ Scott, shout out to Coach Lagerstrom, shout out to all the graduate assistants I ever had, man. They was working for $400 a month. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was going into grad school, I was like, I need to find a way that I can be able to still learn what I want to learn and still be able to make money afterwards. So I was like, you know what? I did a lot of research, and I was like, if my degree is already in sport management, that ain't nothing but a branch of the business school. So I'd rather just get a business degree. So I went and got my MBA because I was like, if I still want to work in sports business, it'll be there for me. Right. And ironically, when I graduated, they all came calling, but it was the jobs that I didn't want because they wasn't paying enough. Right. But 2019, I graduate. 2020 comes, and the world shuts down. 73% of sports jobs shut down in 2020. I watched all my friends, all my former classmates be jobless for a year and a half. All the ticket sales folks, how you selling tickets when LeBron not playing. Facts. All of the grounds people, how you maintaining the fields that the players is not playing, bro. Right. All of the athletic directors, bro, the schools is not open. They all at home.
Facts. Season's over.
So I seen 73% of the people that was in my field that got the degrees that I got be seemingly rendered useless, bro. Right. And that was almost like a sigh of relief for me, but also a painful moment for me because I'm like, damn, like, that's a lot of my friends. Like, that's a lot of the people I was in classes with, bro, and they just all lost their careers at the drop of a dime, bro. Right. So it was almost like God kind of led me towards that MBA, and I kind of took that and ran with it.
Do you feel like you hope to get back into the sports world more specifically?
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of where I started with this. So, like, once I graduated and, I'm a consultant now, so I'm working with a global IT company, and it's real cool. I get to partner with a bunch of big Fortune 5s, and I'm the only black person in our room. I think only 7% of business analysts in the world are black. Yeah. So I'm already like the anomaly. As soon as I walk in the room, I got my picture on my teams because I don't want people to not know that I'm black when I'm in the meeting room. Like, even if I'm not talking,
bro, they know you black from your name, bro.
You know what I mean? But see, it's an international company. Like I say, like more than half my coworkers are Indian. So like, all of the names are global. All of the names are foreign, So until you start talking and they kind of hear like the city background of my voice, they almost don't know. And they're like, "Oh, where are you from, sir?" I'm like,
the Indian accent is crazy.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm but I love it, man. I love them, and I feel like I've learned so much about their culture and how deep their communities are and how hard working some Indian people are, man. Because just the fact that a lot of them are awake, like they're on the opposite time zone as us. So just the fact that I could ask somebody a question at 10 o'clock in the morning and I know that that's 9 p.m. for him.
Damn.
And they work overnight to make sure our company stays afloat.
Right.
Like, just little things like that just tells me, like, that's more than I'll be willing to do.
Right.
That's more than I'll be willing to do for a job, is to be working from 12 to 8 right now.
So I got a couple of thoughts, bro. I want you to go back to your response, though. Like, you said you using Make a Way as your entrance into getting into the world of sports. What's your strategy behind that?
Okay, so the big focus of my podcast, like I said, is to give a voice to current and former athletes. Starting off in the greater Philadelphia area, just being able to let them give themselves a narrative, gives themselves a voice. But my goal of it almost is to be a visual and audio version of what Ted Solari, rest in peace, what he was for us. For
Shout out to the legend,
man,
Ted, man.
Ted was one of them ones, man. People don't understand the team he had, the work that he put in. But that's my goal. That's my dream, man, is to be able to, when a kid from, I don't even know, let's say New Hope Charter High School or whatever, any high school in the city, like the kid that wouldn't have got the recognition because they're not at the big name school, I love being able to say, yo, who is this kid and how did he just have 252 rushing yards?
Yeah.
And why is nobody talking about it? I want to be able to say, all right, bet the game was Friday night. Saturday, I picked the player of the week, and then Sunday I'm in the studio recording the podcast. So then Monday, Tuesday, I could be able to put it out like, yo, this is my player of the week.
That's fire, bro.
This is what he did, and this is why. You know what I mean? I'll be able to even like show the footage of what they did, have the kids talk through it. And my goal for real is to be able to have the kids be able to almost market themselves to the college coaches, be like, listen, like this is what I did. This was my thought process behind this play, because people automatically assume with inner city players, especially in the pub, that their football IQ is not what it's supposed to be. Basketball IQ, whatever, is not that we're just athletic, that we're just talented, but not necessarily the
understand the game,
the genius kid that you need. Because think, what do college coaches think about when they look at a Philadelphia public league quarterback? They're like, oh, he's just an athlete.
Yeah,
he could run. I don't know if he's dynamic enough throwing the football. I don't know if he knows how to break down the college defense. I don't know if he'll understand the college playbook. But imagine being able to take a Philadelphia public league quarterback and have him be able to explain the two read as to why he made a read and why he made a throw that ended up leading to them winning the game, or just being able to show what their coaches taught them and how they can apply it. Because a lot of these kids, sports is moving so far forward. These kids are learning so much more, you know?
Right.
And I feel like we're almost being done a disservice, man. When I was at Lake Erie, one of my coaches came up to me. He was like, hey, man, like, he was like, what part of PA are you from, man? I was like, I'm from Philadelphia. He was like, oh, the dark part of the state, right? The part where no ballers come from. I was like, Marvin Harrison, relax, DeAndre Swift, what are you trying to say right now? He was like, no, like, nobody's from there, man. All of the ballers are in Western PA. I was like, last year, 4 of the state championships were from the east side of the state at that time anyway. And I really realized it's because once you get out of the PSAC, like, nobody really knows what Philadelphia Public League football is. And a part of that was, like, they were always taught that if you recruit an inner city Philadelphia kid, the grades are bad, character issues, family issues, support issues, and they're not going to be able to be productive at the college level because there's always going to be a red flag somewhere.
I want to stay there, bro. I want to say, like,
that hurt, bro. That hurt me, bro.
Is there some truth to that, though?
There is. My freshman year at college, we had the largest recruiting class in Lock Haven University history, and the next year I think there was like 30-something of us, and then the next year we only had like a 50% retention rate from that class. Yeah,
and I think, bro, like, the world of sports, from what I'm realizing, bro, it's getting so competitive now that, like, these kids from inner cities, bro, I don't know how it is for football, but on the basketball, on the AAU scene, bro, like, it's becoming, like, pay to play. Like, if you're not, like, one of them, like, top star players, it's becoming pay to play. So I feel like our kids from the inner city, they don't even have the luxury of not getting good grades no more, having character issues. It's like you got to be damn near flawless now to even get an opportunity on, like, the Nike circuit, Under Armour, or Adidas circuit, or anything like that. So I feel like there is truth to that, and I feel like we got to, as a community, we got to figure out what to do to, like, help our kids be more prepared for the next level.
Yeah, bro. And I feel like, you know, there are starting to be some resources to be able to help that. Yeah. It's just the kids have to be willing to do it. Like, right now, there's this nonprofit called Focused Athletics where basically he's providing athletic and academic resources to these kids, SAT prep, even though a lot of schools are now becoming test optional, tutoring for the kids, transportation to and from extracurricular workouts, mentorship for the kids.
I went to a couple of his workouts, just going with the guys. You know what I'm saying?
Career development,
Yeah.
like it's crucial, man. And I feel like a lot of times, like these kids are not utilizing these resources that are put in place for them. Like you have coaches, like for example, I know at Roman Catholic, they have a great staff. Shout out to Coach Preet and all of his staff down there. When I went down to their game versus the Episcopal Academy costs like $40,000-$50,000 a year. That's a private school, costs a lot of money. They got a lot of high end talent at that school. They had a beautiful turf field, huge stands, everything. And when I got there, these Roman kids were so disciplined and they were so locked in and focused. And there was a lot of inner city kids on that team. You know, I know the one kid, Jaja Boyd, who was to me, he was the best player on that team. He might have been the best player in the state this year. I'm not going to lie. But what that came from was how militant and focused and disciplined the coaches were and the expectation those coaches had for those kids. That's what I want to be able to see from these other coaches, man. Like I saw Coach Keita, Crispina, shout out to him, and the rest of the staff, Coach Mir, he was the receivers coach. Very, very, very disciplined. You would have thought you were watching a college staff coaching. And so I feel like that reflects on the kids.
I got a question for you, bro. I think on one level, it does reflect on the kids' work ethic and how much time and energy they expend into what they want to do. But two questions I have for you is, where do the parents come in this entire process? And then I guess, like, if you're a parent right now and you, like, your kid plays sports or whatever it is, like, what should you be doing, or, like, where should you be placing your focus to help your kid get a shot at the next level?
I mean, the first thing is just, if I'm going to break it down a little bit. So I feel like the primary focus that the parents should have when they're young, the goal shouldn't be just to go to the winningest teams and the teams that have the best outlook. You need to go to a place where the kid is going to learn how to be a good teammate, learn how to be a good player, learn how to be a good friend, learn how to be competitive, and actually learn the proper game of football. A lot of these little league programs in the city of Philadelphia is just picking up all of the best kids from all of the best parts of the city, putting them in cover three, letting them learn a lockdown one coverage, great three plays, and just trying to win and go to Florida. That's not the goal of Little League sports. The goal of Little League sports, in my opinion, is to be able to teach the kids the game of football, basketball, baseball, tennis, and be able to develop every single kid on the field. If you just got an A team and a B team and you're treating it like an AAU league, in Little League, when kids are between 5 and 15, you're failing these children.
Right.
I really feel like the key to proper development of the young men, which is the goal of being a youth coach, because I'm sorry, winning shouldn't really matter halfway until high school and fully till college.
Right.
As a Little League program, I feel like the goal of being a Little League coach is not to make money. It's for the development of young men. And I feel like the fact that just looking at some of these programs, like, why is the registration fee $500 when the team fee is really only $125? Y'all buying all these sweatsuits and all these book bags and all this other crazy drip when you're in the most impoverished neighborhoods in the city. And the goal of it is to be able to, like we were saying earlier, get these kids off the street, get these kids out of these neighborhoods, get these kids off of being able to be around people that's not going to be teaching them what they need to know. Instead, we got these kids out here trying to scrape together change to put together $400 to sign up for youth football, when in reality, like, everything else that you guys are getting should be a bonus, or could be fundraised for, You know, so rule number one, I'll say for your first question, is to make sure that the kids are being developed properly from a younger age. And then step two is to really, you know, hold their kids accountable academically. I feel like a lot of parents are failing to hold their kids accountable academically because they're very talented, and it's costing them. You know, when I got to high school, my school was very, very serious about the fact that every single Friday, our teachers had to hand in every athlete's grades, every single sport, football, basketball, baseball, tennis, whatever you played. And if you were failing one class, anybody at Prep Charter could stamp that. You were not playing in the game. So imagine first week of high school, we had syllabus week. So just for signing your syllabus, getting your parents to sign, like, this is the syllabus for the class, if you agree to it, bring it back, you had till the end of the first week to bring it back for every single class. If you didn't get your syllabi signed, bro, you had an F. And we had good players miss the first game of the season because they were ineligible. And our school took that very, very seriously.
Damn.
So just like, everybody's school isn't going to do that. Like, I was talking to my boy the other day. It's very frustrating when I go on Twitter and I see, oh, this kid is a superstar athlete, 6'3", 210 pound, 4'4", 40, and then they sprinkle in 2.12 GPA. What are you doing? Bro?
Right.
And I refuse to believe that a lot of these kids are unintelligent. I refuse to believe that these kids are not smart, because the amount of hard work I see these kids put into these sports, they could be putting into
Same
these
thing
books.
could be applied to the books.
It could be applied to these books, bro, because the schools got the resources for them. The tutors is available. The programs is available. The teachers are available. These teachers are not saying that they don't want to teach the kids, bro.
Right.
So something got to give the kid, and I feel like the coaches also aren't holding some of these star players accountable.
Yeah.
Whereas they need to be able to understand that, like, if this kid blows his knee out tomorrow, he's still going to one day most likely have a family to provide for. He's going to have to be a husband, a father, and a mentor one day. He's going to have to be a leader in his community one day, because if not, our whole community is set back a generation.
I think what you're saying is important, bro. One question I want to ask you is, like, you kind of touched on it already, but, like, how do we get people, young people, to see the bigger picture of what they're working toward, of like sport being the vehicle and not being the end-all be-all? Because this is just my theory, bro. I feel like a lot of kids that play sports that come from where we come from, I don't even know if all of these kids necessarily, like, love the game. Like, even if they hard workers and they can, like, have a good work. When you come from where we come from, you just cut like that. Like, we know how to work hard and apply ourselves to anything. But I think, like, the love for the game, like, actually loving it and, like, wanting to see it through, I don't know if every kid, like, loves it that much. And I think, like, how do we get kids to know that, like, I guess, like,
That the sport is the vehicle.
yeah, and it's other, like,
to
it's,
get them more things than just playing film and a potential shot at the league, that they can actually use it to build a career.
and I guess what I'm saying too is that, like, it's more so, like, what are the actual, like, supports that people really need? Because I feel like a lot of us, bro, like, we play football or basketball or whatever the case may be to, like, escape the trauma of our crib, or, like, the trauma of, like, stuff going on in the neighborhood. We just needed somewhere to be, something to do. So it's like, for those kids, it's like not ushering them away from the sport, but even just, like, what supports can we provide to them to, like, all right, you playing the sport, and you might even just be playing just to pass the time. Like, say you don't even have deep aspirations of playing in college or whatever the case may be. Like, how do we get them to see that, like, yo, it's cool to, like, go and, like, talk to somebody you don't even know. This energy and effort that you might be overcompensating and putting into this sport, like, it could be just a symptom of a larger thing. You get the question I'm trying to ask you?
Yeah, I mean, so with that, I feel like it is extremely important for athletes to be well-rounded. And people look at, oh, you play a sport, that's your extracurricular. That's not enough. When I was in high school, I was in the student body. I was a student body treasurer, and I was trying to run for president, but I just didn't have I didn't have the time to commit to being a president. When I was in college, I was in over 10 different organizations on campus. I was in the Black Student Union.
Yep.
I tried to do as much as I could to be involved. I helped start multiple clubs on campus. I was a tour guide. I was a student ambassador. I was a orientation leader.
These narratives, they are extremely important, bro. Like, to some people, it might sound corny, bro, but, like, I was in student government when I was in college. I got to meet the president of my school because of that. Like, people don't know how far those type of relationships go when it comes to, like, letters of recommendation, scholarships. Bro, I was getting so many opportunities just off of people I knew and just being a good person.
It's
that
critical.
People don't talk enough about. So I think, like, for the kids watching the youth, like, when you use sports as a vehicle, it's like, I think what you said is important about, like, cultivating the whole picture. Because, like, not only are we cultivating young athletes and scholars, we cultivating character. That's the biggest thing.
Future husbands, fathers, and mentors.
Exactly.
Like I said, the beautiful thing about going to college, if you are an athlete at Temple University, let's say, not only are you a football player that gets to play at the link and get to practice on Diamond Street and get to wear the cherry and white, you also get to go to one of the most prestigious universities in the country.
Yep.
You also have access to an alumni network spanning 50 states that has
Facts.
thousands of people in it.
Facts.
You also get the chance to have an alumni network that's so deep in your city that when you're applying for a job, there's like a 1 in 7 chance that the person interviewing you is from Temple University.
That's a fact.
So just think about that alone. Networking is so beautiful, and the more different rooms you put yourself in, the more likely you have a chance to meet someone that you know.
And the reality of it is, bro, like, I don't know the statistics, but I know for the NBA and the NFL is very slim. We get into a point, I don't follow football as much as I probably used to, but in the NBA, bro, we get to the point where, like,
It's becoming an international game.
not only that, bro, But the people that we're seeing currently in these classes, they all like they juniors of somebody. We seeing Bronny James Jr. We seeing Kenyon Martin Jr. We seeing Kanye Anthony. We seeing sons of former NBA players. So we coming from the trenches, bro. Like when you factor in, it might be 1, 2, maybe 3 people from each class every year. I'll say 1 from each class every year from City of Philadelphia that might go pro in basketball or football. I feel like it's probably more for football than basketball, but it's like when you factor that in, the reality is everybody's not going to the NBA or the NFL. So it's like what I hope anybody gets from this conversation is like, how do you position yourself for life after sports? And just doing the things like we said is like taking school seriously when you in high school, middle school, whatever the case may be. Finding a mentor, somebody that you could call when you're going through life circumstances, ask questions or whatever the case may be. If you need help mentally, go to the counselor, tell your parents so they can help you, try to navigate whatever it is. When you get to college, looking for internships, when you go finding ways to contribute to the community service, like building out your resume, looking into a LinkedIn profile, looking into like scholarships and it's money out there. It's a bunch of money out there that's these people is willing to give out, and I think that's the more so the picture I just want to paint of like just understanding like when we say it's a vehicle, it really is. It shouldn't be like your end all be all. And I know for a lot of kids in the hood, like when we was growing up, social media was just coming. So it was easy for us to say we ain't get to see, this type of career or that. But it's no excuse for the kids today. Like when y'all be on TikTok and Instagram, like I know everybody want to be a content creator or an influencer, but y'all got so much exposure to like careers out there. So y'all need to think about what y'all are actually passionate about and not just what's the cool or normal thing to do in my hood or in my area. So I hope for the parents and for the young people like listening, that's just one of the things that they take away.
And let's just say you do make it to the NBA. Let's say you do make it to the NFL, right? The average NFL career for a running back is 3 years. Average age of retirement in the NFL is 25 to 28.
Yep.
You got a long life to live after that. Just know that the NFL the human life expectancy is 70, 80 sometimes. If you take care of your body, 90, 100. It don't matter how good of a football player you are. If you don't have some type of identity after you're done playing, you're going to go into the same identity crisis you would have went through if you would have stopped playing as a freshman in college, because you got a long life to live that doesn't include football when you're done.
And it's crazy, bro. Like, I see that in Atlanta all the time, bro. Not to say that people's career was like fell, but I'm talking about like when you talk about the longevity of it, like the duration of those 3 to 5 years or something like that. Bro, I come across people all the time in Atlanta. They be at LA Fitness with me hooping. I run into them at restaurants, all type of stuff that might have played in the NFL, played in the NBA. Now they just in the gym with us. They working regular jobs or whatever the case may be. And that goes to show you, like, I don't know if they did it right or wrong, but I'm just saying, like, you can't play a sport forever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody not Bron. Yeah.
And even if you're Bron, bro, like Tom Brady just retired, and guess what? Because he was starting to dabble into the media thing while he was playing, he just signed a 10-year contract to be going on Fox and be a game day presenter. Like, you have to be able to do something, because even if you make hundreds of millions of dollars playing your sport, even if you make hundreds of millions, you're going to want to do something. Even, like, nobody just wakes up. Bill Gates is rich enough that he could have sold Microsoft and lived on a beach in Tahiti for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're going to want purpose for your life. You're going to want something to do for the rest of your life. And everybody just gives I'm just going to go into crypto. I'm just going to invest in real estate. I'm just going to try to figure out business XYZ. You're going to have to find whatever that passion is, invest in it, learn it, love it. Figure out the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, the in-between, because if not, you're going to fall behind. Because you're going to be sitting there wondering why at 27 and 28 you're still trying to put out workout videos to try to force your way into a professional league when you could have already reinvented yourself 2, 3, 4 times already and tried to figure out what else you wanted to do.
And I'm not like, I hope the tone or just not receive like we trying to like discourage nobody away from like chasing their dream, because I've seen people, bro, like, it took them a little minute, but they use semi-pro opportunities or whatever the case may be to go pro overseas. It may not be the NBA or the NFL, but they making money from doing something that they love, and I think that's admirable. I think what we just trying to get people to understand is just like seeing the bigger picture of everything. But I feel like
that's not always going to be for everybody either.
Right.
Like let's say there's the percentage of people who are able to play semi-pro locally and be able, because eventually with some people you might not have the support system or you might not have the financial backing or whatever to be able to sustain that over a long period of time.
Right.
So eventually, like, you know, if that well dries up, you need to be able to have something else to fall back on.
And then real life hit, bro. A situation like
Having a kid,
you might not have health care. You playing semi-pro, you don't got no health care. You ain't go to school. You don't got no professional job. You just out here still trying to get it. You break your leg. You tear your ACL. You tear your Achilles. What happens now? That's the importance. I'm glad I went to college. I could take care of my son, put him on my insurance when he need to go to the doctors, whatever the case may be. So that's all I think we was trying to say is just understand the bigger picture. But while we was talking, bro, I thought of a fun question that I wanted to ask you. And the question is, when you think of your experience growing up in Philly, who are your favorite childhood, like hood legends? Like from basketball, football, whatever sport, we all got hood legends from where we from. Who's some of your favorite people?
Easy. Especially because being as though, you know, I'm doing this now, like I'm planning up DMs with them to try to, like, you know, set up interviews.
Don't say nobody that's known, bro. I'm saying somebody like a real hood legend. Like, they might be known in the hood. I'm saying not nationally, though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. In the sports realm?
Yeah.
In the sports realm? The number one hood legend, let's say for me, for basketball, we got this one gentleman in the Southwest. I ain't seen him in probably 5-10 years, bro. His name was Rondo, bro. He used to be at Finnegan's hooping. He was real short.
I know who you talking about.
Like 5'6", 5'7". Oh! Rondo used to get, bro. Everybody
He was tough.
knows
He
who
was
Rondo
tough.
was.
He
Man.
was tough.
He was out in Finnegan's every day. The runs used to run through him. You know, like if he didn't have to pull up with a 5, he would just be able to show up.
So your park was Finnegan's.
My park was Finnegan's and my park was Eastwick. I'll say for like it was Finnegan's and then it transitioned to Eastwick and then it was back and forth, but it was mostly Eastwick. So.
See, I hooped in McCreesh. That was my park. But then, like, as I got older, because I went to Motivation for high school, I played at Eastwick and Penrose a lot more. But McCreesh was my park. Yeah. On the hooping tip, bro. No, I'm not even gonna say hooping first. I'm gonna say football. On the football tip, bro, and this is somebody you know and you play with, bro. Jovan.
Oh, yeah.
He one of the greatest athletes I ever seen in my life, bro. Like when we went to Catherine for elementary school, you know, the Catherine got the cement, and they got the gates and or whatever. We used to play rumble fumble in the yard on concrete. Yo, we used to play wall ball on concrete. Jovan was doing backflips in elementary school, bro. I'm talking about.
He was doing backflips as an adult too,
bro. He doing backflip, the double joints, bro. Like, what's the joint where you do the spin with it, bro? He was doing that in like
he's great.
fifth grade,
but
bro.
That's just God given talent, bro. That's God given ability, bro. I feel like
he was. Jovan was built like I don't know who he was built like, bro. He was built like
he was special, bro.
Special. When I say like, I remember we playing on concrete, bro. It was one play. Everybody was scared to tackle him when we was playing rumble fumble. So I'm like, at that time I loved football more than basketball. I'm like, I'm not scared of ball. I'm about to tackle him, bro. Jovan, he trucked me, bro. And when he trucked me, he stepped on my foot. You know when you're a young boy, you get the cuts and it be the blood. You see the white meat on it. Bro, my whole foot, like all the skin was ripped off. I hit my head on the concrete. I'm bleeding, bro. After that, I said, yeah, Jovan, he one of them for sure, bro. He was fast. He was strong, athletic. He had agility. Jovan hood legend to me, bro. I don't know nobody different, bro. He stamped.
Then if I had to do one more, I'll say a combination. Just, you know, my 10th grade year, my first year playing high school football, I was just a regular Joe. I was one of them dudes that was just fiending to get on kickoff, like just trying to get in the game. We only had varsity at my school because we only had 600 kids in the school. So I get on the team. I try out. I make the team. Coach really liked me. All of that, bro. I get there.
You put yourself in there?
Oh yeah, bro. I just jumped right in the mix, bro.
Oh man,
it was one of them joints where it was like I was fiending to get in, and it was the first game, and I wasn't starting on kick returns.
If that's the case,
it was somebody that got hurt, and I just jumped in the mix, bro, and I just played, bro.
If that's the case, hooping wise, bro, I definitely think I'm a hood legend, hooping wise. Yeah. But
I'm trying to think. My hood legend gotta be like a combination of our whole running core my sophomore year. It was Vion, Dolo, Tar, Monway, Quaddy.
Shout out to my boy Tar, man.
Nobody in the city of Philadelphia ever gives Money Monway his respect as a running back in the city of Philadelphia.
Tar stamp, Dolo stamp too.
No, bro. If you ask people in general, the top 5 running backs they could think of, even if you ask a lot of people, top 10 running backs they seen. I made a poll the other day on my podcast page, and they got over 200 people that chimed in. Not one person said Tar Monway, bro.
Damn.
Tar was a beast, bro.
You know who another hood legend that never really got to like fulfill his potential, bro? I grew up with Najee, bro. Najee Dutton.
I don't think I know.
He went to prep, but he was a running back. He went to prep
before my time.
He was there with Tim and all of them.
I played 2013 fall, 2014 fall, 2015 fall.
Oh, so damn, I ain't realized we was that much older than you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played
13,
15.
If I show you a picture, you probably be like, oh, but
yeah, he probably was around.
G was like, bro, when I say he was like fast, he's small though. He's smaller than Tar, but he just fast, strong. I think he played for the Monarchs, Overbrook Monarchs. When you go in his crib, bro, he got offensive MVP. He playing quarterback. He just scrambled because he was so fast, bro. G and Joanne on the hoop side. I don't really know on the basketball tip. I don't know who a hood legend
Dolo
basketball was.
If you just seen Dolo playing football, bro, he was one of those players that was like just effortless talent.
Yeah,
like he was naturally explosive. He probably I feel like if he would have had like a full college career, then he would have had a 10-foot broad jump. He would have had the.
You think injuries hurt Dolo?
I don't know. I feel like he kind of just his freshman year he walked into Del Valle and it was one of those situations where it was him and another quarterback that was both really good and the coaches liked the skill set from the other player better and Del Valle is one of them programs.
Got you.
They win a lot, so it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Because I went to the spring game, he did real good, man. He threw a nice little bubble and he had like a real long run, but they had one of them programs where they throw the ball vertically and the coaches probably just picked their guy and they kind of ran with that guy for 3 or 4 years straight. That's why he changed over to defense and he did that for a little. He had an offer to Lockhaven, man. I always said in a different world, man, if he would have went to Lockhaven, one thing that we was missing was the dynamic quarterback, a quarterback that could really run the ball, man.
Think it would have been a game changer?
I feel like he would have been a game changer, bro, because he would have been there from 15 to 19, and I'm just thinking about those years, man. Like,
it would have been nasty?
Because 2015 fall, he would have been there. Caleb Walton, that was our quarterback at the time. That next year, he won Conference Offensive Player of the Year. So our Caleb would have been there those 2 years. His redshirt year and his redshirt freshman year, Dolo would have had 3 years as a starting quarterback. I really felt like he would have been good enough to start those last 3 years.
The PSAC, the talent in the PSAC is crazy. That's an underrated conference, yo.
I mean, on the Division II level, I think the reason why it's underrated is because we have so many teams. There's almost 20. There's 16 teams in the PSAC compared to the whole state of California. It's probably one Division II team. Like on the West Coast, all of the teams are scattered apart. They got to fly to play each other.
Yeah.
Whereas we got 16 teams all 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour.
Right.
And everybody could play each other.
On the football side, though, I feel like the PSAC players holding it down. In terms of basketball, it's only but so far you're going to go from a D2 school. You might make it to the G League, but.
Yeah, bro. No, in football, they make it, bro. I mean, shout out to Craig Reynolds, man. He was on the Detroit Lions this year. He was the running back from Kutztown, and he scored a touchdown this year. I think it was in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
He was one of them Bulls, man.
That's a dream come true, dog.
Yeah, no. Craig is probably one of the hardest working players I've seen because my boy EJ transferred to Kutztown, and when he got there, we played against Kutztown multiple years, and Craig was one of them dudes where it's like you see him and he don't even look like he was running full speed. It looks so effortless.
All right, I got another question for you. It's another fun one.
It's cool.
Who is from each sport, basketball and football, who is the best athlete you ever saw? They don't got to be from Philly, but I would prefer if you're from Philly. Who is the best Philadelphia basketball player and football player you ever seen in your whole, or they could just be your favorite, somebody you just love their game and what they brought to it on both sides.
Okay. Football. This is good. I feel like my favorite Philadelphia football player that I've seen was probably DeAndre Swift, bro. When I seen him in high school for the first time, bro, and it's not even because that's the easy answer, but it has to be the easy answer, bro, because he's one of those guys
What was
that
he doing?
So his 8th grade year, he was playing for the E9 Eagles, and I remember because one of my homies was playing Pop Warner at that time, and he was playing for the 160s.
Yeah.
And a year later, he makes it to high school football, and he went from playing for the 160s.
Yeah.
His 9th grade year, it was on paper that he was 5'9", 205. So he gained 40-something pounds in one offseason.
Damn.
Coming into high school football, and he looked like you can look at a football player and say that is a collegiate level player.
Yeah.
Just from the eye
And
test.
he passed the eye test when you seen him.
In 9th grade at 13, 14 years old.
Damn.
Immediately when I saw him, and he walked into a St. Joe's prep team that had college level players all over the board.
Mm-hmm.
And he was all-league player from his freshman year. He was just dynamic. Every time he touched the ball, it looked like he was ready to score. And it was just one of the most,
electric.
Like, I could go and play college football at 15 guys I've ever seen in my life.
Damn. That's high praise.
Yeah, bro.
DeAndre, you gotta tap in with us. That's high praise right there.
It was one of the most electric players I've ever seen. And then he get to college, and it was no drop-off.
Right.
Like, for a lot of players, you usually see a transition period. He walks in his freshman year at the University of Georgia in a running back room with Nick Chubb and Sony Michel that were both first-round picks. No, I think Sony was a first-round pick. Nick might have been early second. Mm-hmm. Nick ends up being arguably the best running back in football for X amount of years, and Sony Michel ends up carrying the Patriots to a Super Bowl for early in his career before injuries start taking over.
Yeah.
And you're sitting behind two guys who are blue-chip players ready to go to the NFL draft in the same year that both of them are ready to go to the league, and you still got a single digit and is getting burned as a freshman. He was getting burned in the backfield, really getting carries as a true freshman with them two playing. That told me everything I needed to know about him, bro.
All right, who your second for basketball? Greatest player you ever seen from Philly?
Greatest basketball player I ever seen in the city of Philadelphia in basketball.
Yo, Southwest got some hoopers. I ain't gonna lie.
That's a few, bro. Bro,
I ain't gonna. I'm not making this up. I think I seen Samir score 72 points in middle school. You know Samir Dowdy?
Samir Dowdy, yeah, he was a bucket.
Bro, I think I seen him score 72 points in the
Samir
8th
Dowdy.
grade.
Samir Dowdy's a good answer.
You gotta get Samir on the show. That'd be tough.
I gotta tap in with him.
That'd be tough.
And the thing with the hoopers is, I feel like it's like I always be wanting to get them up here, bro. It's just like that's not my network. I never hooped, so I don't really I don't got the connections, bro. But I'm gonna try to start getting a lot more hoopers.
I think that'll take your joint to the next level. If you expand it outside of football, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, bro. And that's really my goal, bro. I feel like maybe it's just a comfortability thing where I need to start to branch out and start to fail forward a little bit.
For real, bro. For real. Start watching and just watch more. I don't know how much basketball you watch at every level, but I would just watch more and get more familiar with the game, and I think that'll make you more comfortable interviewing them and asking them certain questions and all that.
I'm trying to think. I'm really thinking here.
I'm gonna go to mine on basketball before football. Mm-hmm. So I seen a lot of players, bro, like Quade Green. Quade
was special in basketball.
Bro, Quade is tough. And Quade tough because he know how to use his body. Like, for him to be undersized, his pace and his feel for the game, Quade just, he's special. I like Quan Newton. He definitely was tough. B.A., nice. But for me, bro, my favorite player in high school was Daquan Walker. I don't know if you know him, but he went to Constitution. Mm-hmm. And that's actually funny. I told him, I'm like, Quan, you was my favorite player in high school. And we kind of cool. We follow each other on the gram. We be chopping it up. But I'll say the best by far, though, bro, is Sheed Jordan, bro.
All right, so I'll say most talented. I'll say Sheed Jordan. My favorite one that I ever watched, my older brother went to Boys Lane, graduated in 2012, Maurice Watson. Maurice Watson was a beast, bro.
Doo-wop.
Yeah, shorty doo-wop. I remember when I used to go down to be
he was tough.
Bro, when I tell you, that was one of the most commanding players on the basketball court I ever seen. Whenever he wanted to score, he scored.
Tough.
I'll really give it to him.
Bucket.
Bro.
And he undersized too, but it don't even matter.
He used to do whatever he wanted.
I'm sorry though, bro. She
was electric though, bro. She felt like an NBA player in high school.
Nobody, bro. He a grown man, bro. She was different. He was one of the first. He was one of the first guards. You know, in Philly, bro, for basketball, when you play in the pub, if you over 6 foot, you playing center. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is. In the Catholic League and all the private schools, they got all the talent. So if you're in the pub if you don't go to MOTEP, MCS, Constitution, one of them top schools, you playing center if you over 6 feet. But she was one of the first guards in the city, like a legitimate 6'4", NBA body. His jump shot wasn't the best, bro, but just like in terms of like raw grit, like you know that passion Pat Bev play with, like she did that, but with skill though. Like so, imagine like Pat Bev, but like with more game, like more.
I mean, bro, in his younger years, Pat Bev used to be dropping 40.
He did, bro, but she just like
I was a fan of She, bro. Me and my cousin Eve, shout out to ID, man. We used to be in his living room on his PS3 watching She during highlights.
Yeah, bro,
every day.
She. I think out of all the guards, Maurice Watson, and people might not feel this way. Even Daquan was my favorite. She was just different, bro.
She looked like an NBA player.
Yeah, he did. I gotta put respect on his name. Like she was definitely. I was happy for him when he made it to the G League, all that, and I wish he could have sustained. But he probably the best player I ever seen, bro. Like of just like from the like really from the hood, like not nobody that was a transplant that went to like really from the hood, like one of us, bro. He was the best player I ever seen, and I never seen nobody do the stuff he did, like the way he willed his team. Like you going at a team like Emotep, bro, where they recruiting all of the best kids from the region. Like he's going at them just with regular kids from the hood, bro. At a public school, like nobody did that, bro. Nobody. I don't think nobody ever gonna do what he did ever again, bro. He the best I ever seen with my two eyes.
And that's why I kind of give a little bit of power to Quade, because I remember when like at Eastwood coming up, man. Like I remember we used to be at the park, bro, and like it's two courts at Eastwood side by side. So at the one court, it's like where all of the teenagers, all of the young boys we used to hoop. And then it was like the old head court where like they used to run their full.
Yeah.
Quade was
on the old head.
Yeah, bro. He was running full with them. They was like, yo, we need one more. Q. They used to call him over. Like he never like he didn't used to mind hooping with the younger guys, bro. But he was one of them dudes that like they had no issue calling him over there.
I like Quade, bro, because he humble too. Like Quade very humble from my experience with him. Like hooping at Eastwood King, he had a name at that time. Like he never acted like he don't never act like that. Like he just always just down to earth, nice to everybody, and just a humble person. I give Quade that. I respect him a lot for that. I don't know where bro at now, but I hope he's still doing his thing.
Oh no, he's doing that thing. So he was playing semi-pro for a little bit after like the G League did fill out. Now he just recently signed a contract. He's playing in the British basketball.
Bro, what's wrong with you? Gotta get Q on a podcast,
bro. He's in Britain right now, bro.
Hey,
no, bro. That's in the works, bro. He's in Britain right now. He's in the UK,
bro. Quade, get on here, bro. You going up? I'm telling you, bro. Because basketball players, you might not like this, bro. I feel like basketball players, we shine more than like football players from an individual standpoint.
I mean, the thing with that is it's because y'all the basketball itself isn't played behind the helmet, behind that. Like your face is your identity when you're playing basketball. Like, people know you as who you look like.
Facts.
Like people can recognize all of the players on the Sixers, bro. If people on the Eagles, unless you're Jordan Mailata at 6'8", 377.
Like you really got to watch football to know like who they are. Versus basketball is really
everybody know Brown face. Everybody know SGA face. Everybody know Derek White face. Like it's like their faces are noticeable.
That's what I'm saying. If you get some hoopers on here, bro, this joint gonna go up.
Believe me, bro. The cold calls are going out, bro. You know, I've reached out to Dada. Dada is currently working for the Brooklyn Nets right now. So whenever he back in the city, we're gonna try.
Dada working for the. Yo, shout out to Dada, bro.
Yeah, no, bro.
He another homegrown. Like really, I seen Dada where he ain't even know how to play basketball.
I went
to
middle school with him.
He just was tall. He ain't even like.
Bro, he was 6'4" in like 6th, 7th grade. He was still trying to learn how to.
No coordination, nothing. To see him go to Villanova from where I seen, bro.
Multiple national championships. Yeah,
shout out to Dada, man. He stand forever.
Philadelphia, man.
For real.
Yeah, bro. He went to so he went to middle school with me, and then he went to Central in 9th grade. Left Central reclassed and went to Newman. And so he graduated in that.
Shout out to Dada, man.
Yeah, bro. I reached out to him, bro. It was like probably after the NBA season. He currently working for the Brooklyn Nets. You know.
Shout out to Dada, man.
He doing good for himself.
And from Southwest to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I mean, you know, shout out
to
Mikal Bridges. Yeah, bro, networking, bro. See, he was a very good college basketball player. Won a national championship. Was one of the core culture of good players.
You know what? Another hood legend that like is playing semi-pro right now. Staff.
From Prep. Yeah, I had Staff for him.
Staff a hood legend. I rock with Staff heavy.
Yeah, Staff is a good dude, man. Really good dude. I remember when he was at Prep, bro. Like he was one of them dudes where like. 6'5", 6'6" in high school. He command a lot of attention when he walking through the hallways, bro. Never was a cocky bull, bro.
Yeah.
Always was a good dude.
On the football side, I don't know if I had nobody that's like the greatest I ever seen or nothing like that. I just think like Jovan, he probably like the best athlete I ever saw on the football tip. He probably never got to like reach his ceiling like in high school or college or whatever, but like he's just from a raw athlete standpoint, he's the greatest football player I ever seen. That's probably sound crazy to say.
I would say I got so many, bro. I would say DJ Moore. Well, yeah. Matter of fact, I got a little top 5, man, because a lot of people asked my top 5 that day where I was doing the poll of who's my favorite player. I feel like the best players I ever seen in the city of Philadelphia. I never seen Marvin Harrison Jr. play in person besides one time in high school, so I'm not counting him. I'll say DeAndre Swift, DeAndre Scott from Montay. He ended up going to Arizona State from Montay. DJ Moore. Akil Crumpton at 4.
What was the young boy name that had went to Penn State from Montay? And I think he had the little situation and he.
Ashim Young. He is now transferring to University of North Texas. I believe he's there now.
Damn, he went to a lot of schools.
Yeah, he went to.
He was nice though.
He never actually made it to Penn State. He out of high school, situation. God bless him. Another opportunity. Went to Iowa State. Was a freshman All-American. Left there and he transferred to Ole Miss. Got to play in the SEC for a few years. And now he just transferred to.
I'm gonna say Karamo, the best football player I ever seen. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's my doggy.
From elementary school, I seen Karamo was the same size in like 5th grade.
Yeah, no, he was a big dude, man.
So I was just a Nasa too. That's my folks. Grew up with them, but yeah, Karamo. I'll probably give it to Karamo. Yeah, Under Armour All-American.
It was effortless for him.
Humble.
Effortless.
Yeah, I say Karamo probably. I give it to Karamo.
It was effortless for him, bro. And I'll give him my number 5 right there. So I'll say Swift, DeAndre Scott, DJ Moore, Akil Crumpton, and Karamos.
That's a good list.
I'll put Karamo over Crump.
As you should.
I had the personal experience with Karamo.
As you should.
Put Crump at 5. So
As you should. I guess we get into the end, bro. Was there any questions you had, last questions, or anything you feel like we should touch on to round it out?
I guess my last question for you is, what's your overall goal? What's your future aspiration for what your podcast can grow into?
For myself, bro, like, it's funny. Like, I just watched the Club Shay Shay interview with Shannon and Cat Williams that went like super viral, and people saying like, yeah, like he created a podcast where people like felt comfortable to tell the truth or whatever the case may be. But for me, bro, like, I just hope to make like mental health, especially for our community, and I'm not just touching on black people, I'm touching on like black people that come from where we come from. I just want to make it more of a conversation, and I want to make like certain topics just less taboo and like not uncomfortable to talk about. So I want to create an environment where it's like people of all backgrounds, but people that's like big, they feel like they got a space where it's not about clickbait or whatever the case may be, where they could come and they could have real conversations about whatever they mishaps are or whatever they struggle with, from somebody that like truly care to understand, and we work toward like finding solutions together. So I like what Shannon Sharp did. I feel like long term I want to create a show that make people feel like that, but also just have my own like media company. But I just want to do everything with integrity and like focus, and just like when you got integrity, it's going to be slower and anything that you're doing. But I just want to treat people the right way. I want to be careful with their stories. And I just want to help people, bro. Like, I brought on people, like, one of my close friends I met at Temple, she's a plant-based vegan chef. And that episode, like, when people ask me what's one of my favorite episodes I ever did, that one was it, bro, because it just was so fire to hear somebody from our community talk about, like, how to prioritize, like, wellness, like, and nutrition from the things that we eat. Like, I brought on rappers, I brought on artists, all type of stuff, but, like, that type of information, like, I feel like it gets lost in translation, and that's the stuff that could really help us as a community move forward. My homie Nas, he's a financial literacy coach. He came on there dropping gems. This is somebody that he not too far in age from us. He a year older than me. He's had a citation for the city of Philadelphia for the past 5 years for what is called Philly Financial Literacy Week, which is something that he coined, where he partners with local recreation centers and the city of Philadelphia to host trainings about credit and a bunch of different aspects of like financial literacy. And he makes it accessible to our people. He bringing in the likes of what's Brian right hand man, and he with New Balance, and he is the agent of Clutch. What's his name?
Rich Paul.
Rich Paul. He bringing the likes of people like that, bringing them to the Philly and the hood, making them accessible for us to learn about how we could be better business people and more money savvy with our money. Like, I want to bring stuff like that to our community, bro, and also show these kids, like, yo, there's so many jobs out here. There's so many careers and things you could take a liking to outside of just what the norm is. So, like, I feel like when I think about my brand, bro, that's some of my aspirations. I just wanted to be a place of truth, a place of integrity. And when I saw it said and done, people could say, like, yo, he gave us so much information that, like, if we watch this, it could make our community a better place. You know what I'm saying? Like, black people could watch this and they could find answers for certain things that we might not talk about publicly or feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, man. Well, I really appreciate you for coming on here today, man. I feel like you really gave people a lot of answers to questions that they was really wondering, and I really feel like it's going to open the door not only for people to learn about the things that they saw today, but be able to, you know, not only watch my podcast and learn from my podcast and be able to hear the stories of the athletes, but now be able to also maybe inquire into other types of podcasts to be able to get other types of information. I feel like that's one of my biggest goals from today that I really was able to accomplish.
And I'm a fan of yours, bro. I support you. Like, you one of the only, bro, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I support people because, like, just off the strength of, like, if they my folks, I'm gonna support what they do. But it's a difference between supporting your folks and, like, actually, like, liking all the way, like, what they do. And, like, I know people feel like that about me. Like, they probably just support me. That's my man. I'm gonna support him. But when I watch your stuff, bro, it's actually interesting because I'm actually, like, a big sports fanatic. So that's why I'm saying if you start bringing the hoopers on there, bro, it's going to go crazy, bro. So
and I don't want to speak too much into it, man. The cold calls is going out, man. You know, just sometimes it's just about, you know, making sure everybody, like, sometimes the DMs just got to be seen. I feel like the hard part
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and the hard part too
forward. They might not see the first one. Mm-hmm. You got to hit him up a second and a third.
Bro, it's not like I'm DMing a chick, bro. I'm talking to a dude, bro. It's nothing for me to hit them up. All right, but I'm going to follow them from the other page this time, whatever have you. But I feel like the big thing with me is, bro, I'm going to keep trying, man.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what I've been getting into now is I've been using the friend of a friend approach, and it's been helping me out a lot. So I got a lot of great content coming up. I can't wait to be able to help y'all out, man. I can't wait to be able to give y'all some of these stories that y'all been really waiting to hear.
Same. And before we go, bro, this is my last question I ask all my guests.
Sure. Talk to me.
How do you define failure?
I define failure as a roadblock that you are refusing to get over, because failing to me is a choice. I feel like you can learn from I feel like you can make a mistake without failing. I feel like you can run into a wall, but a wall is nothing but stopping you from going in one direction. You can still go right and you can still go left.
You can even go on top of it.
You know, you can climb over it. But the thing is with failing is deciding to look at the wall and saying that I'm not going to be able to get to my destination because this issue is too much for me to handle. And that's not right. And you know what I mean? Personally, I feel like every single problem, for what it's worth, is either going to be able to be overcame, or you are going to be able to learn from it so that when you come up to that wall again, you'll have a way to scale it, or you'll have a way to go around it. Because if not, you're not learning, you're not growing, you're not developing. So I feel like that's my definition of failure, is running into that wall and refusing to scale it, refusing to learn how to scale it, refusing to learn how to go around it.
I appreciate you, bro, and I'm gonna keep supporting you. I think we should keep supporting each other and just keep putting out dope content for the people, bro. They need it.
One day at a time, man.
For sure. I live by that. All right, bro.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't tell you in person, so I decided to write a song.